Okay, so you've had some practice with some basic equations, and we're going to continue still with some basic equations for the rest of the week. Next week, we get a little bit more different types of equations that maybe you haven't seen before, or just maybe not a lot. So let's look at this last, what we did the past couple days. We want to always look at where the equal sign is and combine anything you can on each side. So on this left side of the equal side, I can combine the x's to get 8x minus 2. And then over here, I've got some numbers I can combine. So I end up with 4x plus 6. Now I have an equation with variables on both sides. So I can subtract 4x because it's the lower coefficient. 4x minus 2 equals 6. Add 2. 4x equals 8. Divide by 4. And you get x equals 2. Okay? It's a good idea to go ahead and plug this 2 back in to every place where you see an x and plug them into your calculator and see if the two sides are equal. Okay, so what we're going to add in now to our equations is the distributive property, which we've used already this year, so nothing new, just putting it in with the equal sign. So let's just review quick what distributing it is. All it is it's a way to get rid of the parentheses. So this is saying take A and multiply it by everything inside, so you end up with AB plus AC. All right, so take a second and pause the video and go ahead and see if you can practice that distributive property that we should know pretty well by now. Okay, so hopefully you pause that and you take a look at your answers and got them right. The only the last one, I did 2 distributions in one. So what happened here after I distributed is I was able to combine. So after you distribute, you're always going to look to see if you can combine. Okay, just remember to always distribute that sign 2 in front. So if you look at number 4, you take the negative 4, so and it becomes negative 4x plus 8, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, so on this slide, okay, it says, can you help Amy? Amy hasn't quite grasped the concept yet. Can you circle her errors? So if we look at number 1, okay, I see the parentheses, so I know I have to distribute, and I have to distribute to everything. So what she did is she did 3 times x, but she forgot to distribute the 3 to the 6, right? So that 3 should be 18. And then when I go ahead and solve this, okay, so I'm going to solve this. I'm going to just put number 1 down here. 3x plus 18 equals 24. I subtract 18, I get 3x equals 6, divide by 3, so x is 2. So I'm going to put 2 here. So again, just like before, pause the video and try the rest, see if you can find the mistake, and then solve the problem. Okay, so hopefully you can look through this and check your answers. Okay, I ran out of space for the work for 4. Hopefully you can read that work. But if you have questions about this slide, let us know when we see you. Okay, so let's take a look. So we're going to take a look at this first one. Okay, and I'm going to distribute. I get 6x minus 18 equals negative 24. Just be careful always of signs because they really do make or break the problem. Okay, I'm going to continue over here. Okay, the 18 cancels out. I get 6x equals negative 6. And now I'm going to divide by 6. So I get negative 1. Right, if I take a look at the next one, okay, no different from the other one, just the x is now on the right-hand side. So I get 30 equals 20 minus 2x. So I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides. I get 10 equals negative 2x. Again, try really hard not to lose signs because it matters. And I get x equals negative 5. So again, I would pause the video and try the next one. Okay, so hopefully you got x equals 3. So after I distributed here, if you just look at this line here, let me just grab my pen again. Okay, if you look at this line right here, after I distributed, I was able to combine these like terms. So after you distribute, always look to see if you can combine because this went a little bit further. Okay, so in this slide, you're going to have to distribute, combine, and maybe even have variables on both sides. So I'm going to do both of these with you. Watch carefully. Okay, so over here on the left-hand side, I'm going to distribute first because I always distribute first. 4n plus 6n minus 12 equals n. So now that I've distributed, I'm looking to see if I can combine anything on each side of the equal sign. So here, okay, I can only combine these two. Sometimes people try to combine this n right here, but that's on the other side of the equal sign. You can never combine on different sides. Okay, so I get 10n minus 12 equals n. So you want the variables on one side, the letters on another. So I'm going to subtract 10n from both sides. And I get negative 12n equals negative 9n. And then I divide by negative 12. I divide by negative 12. Wait a second. I think I messed this one up. So I'm going to pause it and try to find my mistake. Okay, I found my mistake. It wasn't a huge, it's a huge deal, but so what happened here is I ended up putting an n with this 12 here. So I'm just going to take a second and erase this, okay? So I remember I make mistakes too, so I get negative 12 equals negative 9n. So now I have to divide by a negative 9 here. So a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So you get positive 12 over 9, okay, which is the same as 4/3. Okay, you can leave it as a fraction or you can turn that into a decimal, your choice. Okay, so now let's take a look at the one on the right-hand side. Hopefully I don't make a mistake this time. So here I get negative 6y minus 5y minus 20 equals y minus 8. I distributed. Now I'm going to combine my like terms on one side of the equal sign. So I get negative 11y minus 20 equals y minus 8. So I'm actually going to move the y's to the left-hand side. It's going to end up being negative, but that's okay. I get negative 12y minus 20 equals negative 8. And then I'm going to add 20 to both sides. And I get negative 12y equals 12. Divide by negative 12. And I get negative 1. All right, so on this last slide, make sure you go in this order. Distribute, combine, solve. In that order every single time when you're solving an equation. Sometimes there won't be any distributing, so you just go to combining. Sometimes there won't be any combining, so you just go to step 3. But if there's ever distributing, you must start with that first. So head on over to Delta Math and try the practice problems.